Hello, Carmel.
Hi,
I'm
hi.
talk I'm talking with Carmel Sastre, who is an energy healer, and I'm talking with him about diabetes. So I'm asking him a few questions. The first question I have for you is, what can you tell me about this disease we call diabetes?
Okay, diabetes is really a disease which is huge in the world, and every time more younger people get diabetes. Before it was around 40 years old for diabetes 2. For diabetes 1 is more during the childhood because they say it is more genetics and but many people are diabetes, and many of the diseases as heart attacks, etc., are due to diabetes, although they say, okay, the person died from a heart attack, but really the root of the problem was really the diabetes. So diabetes is a pandemic, it's a real pandemic, okay? And it is really a metabolic disorder in the body that has lost really the ability to process and use the refined carbohydrates, and I really say refined, and I will explain you later why. Refined carbohydrates, the starches, and the sugars. So sugars including alcohol, wine, honey, and the starches, and the carbs, the carbohydrates, but especially the refined carbohydrates. What happens is that for diabetes 1, which medical doctors say that there is no cure because they have the beta cells that really, it's an autoimmune disease that attacks the beta cells of the pancreas. But really, with my energy healing session, I have seen really thousands of people really curing, after stroke and recovering and having the mobility, cysts being removed. People that really from diabetes 2, I never had really the occasion of really having somebody with diabetes 1 and really to recover and really to stop even to need the insulin. So diabetes, you have the diabetes 1, which is really when it only produces very little insulin or not at all. So then the person is really insulin dependent. And you have the diabetes 2, which can be, so the pancreas doesn't produce enough, okay, insulin, and then it cannot be released properly in the bloodstream, or the insulin cannot be used properly. So there are these two things. But diabetes is really when there is too much sugar in your body, so the body gets acidic, the cells start to be acidic, to die, and that's how the beta cells are dying because of the lactic acid. The
Okay.
lactic acid is killing really the protein inside the cell, and then it is then um, destroying the capacity of this cell. From the energetic point of
Sorry
view,
to
of
interrupt
course,
you. You were
yes.
telling me that it's not only diabetes is not only caused by genetic reasons. Is that right?
No, no, because in fact, the diabetes too, it is to do with the lifestyle, the
Okay.
way of eating, the mental health, the emotional health, the stress levels, because they affect as well the body. And basically, all these emotions, all these things, as for example, not receiving enough sun, eating too much
Much.
sugars, too much carbs. So it is something that with your lifestyle you develop, you create, and then if you continue this pattern as eating sugars, a lot of carbs, junk food, So then you really aggravate the situation of the glucose in your levels, in your blood stream. And then the more it rises, the worse it is, and the diabetes start to be worse and worse. Then it starts with the diabetes that you start with a little bit of insulin, and then you need more insulin, and then you need more medication because the secondary effects destroy as well other areas of the body, because diabetes really not only affects the pancreas. The pancreas is really the center, no, the solar plexus chakra, and from there it sends so all these problems to the rest of the body.
Yes, I heard that we can even suffer from necrosis of tissues when we suffer from diabetes. I have a cousin who had to amputate his toes, and it was due to diabetes.
Yes, yes, yes. And it is one of the things that diabetes causes, but they don't speak much around, because I think the medical doctors really are really afraid because they don't really find a cure for that. But obviously, what they do is that they say, okay, the levels of glucose are okay until this level. And then there is a big industry, pharmaceutical companies. When you go to a pharmacy, please check all the products for diabetes. It is full, it is packed. But this is one of the causes. So your cousin, sorry to know about that, but it is one of the effects. And this first effect, because it affects other things that I will tell you a little bit later, but that happens to him because really the the sugar, what he's doing is really that it creates, it suffocates the cell without oxygen, so the protein of the cell, which is the hemoglobin. And then when it is suffocated, no oxygen means no life, no breathing. So there is an inactivity. And when that happens, it creates the lactic acid. And this lactic has 22% more weight than the weight of our blood. So what happens with the energy of the earth, the gravity, gravity, what happens is that is at the weight is 22% more, it goes especially in the lower part of the body. And then the feet and all this area is, of course, where this lactic acid really affect the most. So there is amputations, there is ulcers, you don't feel maybe the food sometimes, gangrena. So that's one of the things. And diabetes as well, heart attacks are caused and problems with the blood vessels. So
Okay.
diabetes is really a
Do you,
big,
do you say
big,
do you say that diabetes can cause a stroke, for example, for instance?
of course, for the brain, people really with diabetes have about twice the risk for stroke.
Okay.
And then a higher risk of dementia, of depression, and even Alzheimer,
Okay.
because they say Alzheimer, we don't know, but really it is because the acidity, really this energy from the pancreas is really like this glucose. In reality, this glucose is really suffocating the neurons and suffocating the sixth chakra. So that's why energetically I need to work. It is very important to work with the sixth chakra, okay, for many other things. So I will speak about the sixth chakra later, why it is more important, because I want to finish that with the heart attacks, for example. It is one of the things. The brain, it affects the brain. Alzheimer, for example, is a problem because there is no oxygen in there and the cells are really like a little bit like crazy. and it is called, in fact, sometimes like the diabetes 3, okay, Alzheimer. And you see that more diabetes and more diabetes, people have more and more Alzheimer. And it affects as well the teeth, the gums, it affects the liver, it affects the eyes. People start to have problems, glaucomas, cataracts, problems with the eyes, vision, seeing things not very clearly, problems with the ears and hearing. So the
So everything
kidneys as
fails.
well. Sorry?
Yes, everything fails or starts failing, right? Not
Yes.
only internal organs, but almost everything. So
Yes, and the worst thing is that as more things fail, then more medication, and this is a never-ending story. And at the end, you have a pharmacy at home. So the best is really to sort out the problem by doing changes.
so your method is to treat the chakras, in this case, energetically healing the chakras to
Yes,
to restore balance to cells, right? And make them
exactly.
function. Okay. So
Exactly. Well, I don't work only for diabetes. I work in general and for many things, for the chakras, the energy centers. So we are all energy. So obviously, it works because we are energy. We have an emotional field, we have a mental field, and the physical. And the result of our body is really the physical things, which is the food, the water we drink. It is the emotional and mental because they affect us and they somatize, and then it gets into the person and it materializes with problems. So basically, in healing, what I work for the diabetes, it is the third chakra, which is really the solar plexus, which has minor chakras in it. So, and it's very important to work, obviously, the pancreas, and then it's very important as
so you
well, the
say you
gallbladder.
to work the chakra which is responsible for the pancreas, right? That's what you are saying.
Yes,
Okay.
the
So
the third chakra.
you work the
Sorry.
chakra which is responsible for that organ and that organ starts getting the balance back and starts to work properly again. Is that what you are saying? No?
No, no, no. It's not only this chakra because we are not pieces of meat and we are
So
all
you know,
interconnected.
yes,
So
interconnected. So you have to work all the chakras involved, right? Okay.
you need to focus in certain chakras. For example, I work with the solar plexus chakra and with the minor chakras, and dividing the areas, for example, of the pancreas, of the power of the cells with the hemoglobin, that really you cleanse it, that through through the lungs, that really cleanse the blood. Then I work with the liver as well, which is in the solar plexus as well, the third chakra. And I work with the sixth chakra because the sixth chakra is really where you have the gland really of the sun, that you receive really the energy, and it controls the throat as well, the throat chakra, which controls the endocrine system. So it's very important to work the endocrine system, and I give advice to do things because you need to have a very powerful sixth chakra in here that absorbs, that generates the melatonin. So that's why sun is one of the energetic prescriptions that I give, because I am not a doctor, so I don't give medication, but I call these recommendations, these tools that I give you, is really the things that you need. And for diabetes, it is proved that at least 30 minutes a day, if it's possible, otherwise a little bit more if you can't every day, but sunbathe, because you receive the vitamin D, which in fact it is proved scientifically that it decreases the glucose level,
Mhm.
you know. So it's not only in one chakra, because
Okay.
when I work energetically, I need as well to make sure that your first chakra is really good and clean, because what I want as well is that you receive the benefits of the earth energy, which is called earthing or grounding, because this energy as well it has been proved scientifically that these negative electrons of the earth really reduce the levels of glucose.
Okay.
So I clean, it's very important to clean that. And I give you advice, as for example, try to go barefoot somewhere. So grounding is one of the things
So
of
you're saying
the
walking on the beach, walking through the fields.
Exactly. Visit the forest if you can, even swim in the sea, because you have the water, the sea salt that really cleanse the seaweed. You have the sun. You have as well the grounding energy from the sand, from the rocks. So all that. So in a session, what I do really is I help you in all that, and of course I see um, how you are energetically, because depending on how you are, imagine that you have problems in your feet. So then one of the priorities is really to focus in the feet area,
You
of
live.
course. And then the grounding is very important. Some plants as well for the blood circulation, and things that I really tell you, as well as medicinal plants.
Yes, I can see you are surrounded by plants. So can you tell me about a plant that can help, for instance, to cure diabetes or to help treat diabetes?
Yes, you have many plants, but the number one, I would say, it is called stevia. Stevia is really a plant. It is a plant from Paraguay. Okay,
So
and
its origin is
sorry,
its origin is South America, Paraguay. That's what you said.
yes,
Yeah.
from Paraguay, exactly. And the benefits are really uncountable, because it helps the sugar levels, and it's incredible how it helps in the sugar levels to really go low.
So it
Um,
substitutes sugar. Is that right? It substitutes sugar. Is that right?
yes, it substitutes sugar, so it has a lot of benefits. Stevia. I'm writing a book about diabetes, and the stevia plant and other plants as well that I recommend. And obviously, in my consultations, when somebody comes, I tell them to take stevia, which is the number one, and there are many, many, many scientific studies that really validate that it heals. And in fact, it has been forbidden, for example, in certain countries, as for example in Spain, and the only thing that wasn't really forbidden is the sugar replacement, which is the sweeter of stevia. But the
Mhm.
sweeter of stevia is the best, because I'm going to do another video about all the other sweeteners that cause cancer, leukemia, in experiments with rats. Terrible. So I will do another video because I can't extend about that. But this stevia sweetener is the
Mhm.
best option instead of sugar, but it's not medicinal, so you don't have the properties.
Okay.
Okay. So the
But
properties. Mhm.
but can you use the plant naturally without coming out from a laboratory? So the plant itself. I don't know. You have a vase with that plant to show us there. You don't, right? Do you
No,
have?
I have it in my garden. I
Okay.
have it in my garden.
So,
So,
how can you use the plant naturally? The plant
well,
or in food or in something, or as a sweetener or as a tea, for example, an herbal tea.
Yes, yes, you can use it. So you have this option if you go somewhere and you want to have a coffee, a tea, or whatever, and you need a sugar replacement. So that's the best option.
You
But
can put
the
you can add some leaves of stevia in a cup, for example, as you do with lumps of sugar.
yes,
How does that
you
work?
can use you can use the leaves, but you are not going to take the leaves in a bar or in a
Of
restaurant. So
course,
it's more
that only
practical
can
the other thing.
okay.
Hmm? Yes, in fact, it is better to use the plant because it really heals and it helps with a combination of all the plants and with energy healing sessions, with a diet that I can tell you how to start changing, measuring your because I had many cases and I said, okay, you measure your glucose level and it, many changes happen in there. Even people, that I treated, then they left the insulin, But coming back to the subject about the plants, yes, the plant has everything, has all the benefits, So it's better than the synthetic thing because you have all the other things. It's the same as the sea salt. The sea salt needs to be sea salt, not salt with iodine, because if you want iodine, you can take it extra. You can take seaweeds or other complements. I mean, but what they do with the salt is they remove everything, okay, and it's only sodium salt. So basically, with the plant, it integrates and it has all the benefits of of the plant, and you can eat it, you can drink it as a tea, so
Mhm.
dry. So you can have, I would recommend 3 cups of this tea a day, or you can eat 2 or 3 times the leaves, chewing consciously, and
But
that
sorry, Colonel,
helps.
you're talking about dried leaves or fresh leaves.
Yes, dry leaves from stevia if you don't have the fresh plants with you.
So you have to dry first. You have to dry under the sun. You have to dry some leaves, right? Then
Yes, but
you
you can buy it. You can buy it in
can buy it.
shops,
Okay.
organic shops.
But if you have them in your backyard, like it happens to you, right? You have stevia plants. Can you dry under the sun some leaves and then make a tea with those?
Yes, not in the sun, somewhere where the air goes, but with light, but not
Okay. Not
with the
under the
sun.
sun directly. Okay.
No, no, because you want it to keep the all the properties. And if you have the possibility to have some home in your garden, or then it's very good. If not, the tea is very effective as well. So
Okay.
that's a magic plant that really helps you as well for hypertension, for obesity. You feel like satisfied. It is a very sweet plant. And you have for the stevia one thing that you can do is added to that, if you want to use sugar, something to do whatever you want to prepare, you can then maybe have 2 liters of water, and then you use the stevia, and then you cook it so that the water evaporates, and then it is a concentrate,
Sweetener.
sweetener somehow. But basically, it's a little bit of work. So I would really use it as a tea, unless you want to cook and use. But that's something different. It's nothing to do with diabetes, and I would like to focus more in diabetes because I want to transmit you, for example, the power of this plant, the power of earthing that I've talked, the power of earthing or grounding, the power of the sun with the vitamin D, and the energy healing session that work with all the body, and my coaching healing sessions that I really advise you and guide you through the different steps. So
Okay.
the stevia is really an amazing plant.
Thank you, Carmel. And well, this video is supposed to be a short video, a short of many, if people want to know more. And of course, I thank you very much for this nice conversation. And I don't know if you have anything else to add to this, to what we have talked, something important for our listeners and viewers.
Yes, yes, I would like maybe to share with you. I think that you know a little bit how I work, so you need to be conscious. And when you come in my healing session, it's not that I only work energetically, but really I guide you and I encourage you really that you test because you can see with the healing session and the changes that I tell you and the recommendations as the ones that I told you, but there are more. And depending on your case, I can give you more. So you can measure the levels of glucose and you can see the difference. And with the healing sessions that I recommend 3 a week, you will be amazed how the changes are really quick and you are not really going to believe. I will tell you things as, for example, the grounding of the sun, which are easy. I will tell you to massage certain parts of the body, as, for example, the hand. I will tell you to drink water because you should drink a good quality water. That's very important in diabetes. And you need to drink at least your weight divided by 7. And that gives you how many glasses of 250 milliliters. So the glasses of water are going to be your weight divided by 7. There are many things as that. And then concerning food, I support you, I encourage you, because I tell you what you need to reduce and how, so that you don't feel like really lost somehow. But it is very important, as I said, the carbs minimum, okay, and then more protein and greens. And I encourage, for example, a rainbow of vegetables, which are going to balance as well all the chakras. This is very important, and a lot of greens that really cleanse all that. So I think that with that, unless you have another thing, because there are many other plants, okay, that help in that. And then I don't only give the stevia, but the stevia is the star, I would say, and I love, I'm used to drink it as well. But you have other plants, as for example, the Gymnema sylvester. You have the cinnamon that can be used, and especially the one of Ceylon or Sri Lanka. And you have all the, but I can't really extend me in that, which is the berberine, and this one is magic, which really reduces the glycemia and helps. It's excellent for the diabetes. In fact, it is like similar to the metformin. So anyway, there is a lot to say, and one of the other things that I could advise you as energetic recommendations as well is really to breathe in, breathe out, to avoid stress, um, and to stop all sugars, all refined food, and the only carbohydrates, the only carbs that you eat, so that they are whole grain, so brown rice, etc. And then the other thing I recommend you is green juices, as for example, celery juice. But well, if you want to know more, you can contact me, and in my website is auraandchakrahealing.com. Unless maybe, Carlos, you have another question.
No, I think we should end now because it's already a long video. I hope people like
Yes,
and
yes.
understand what diabetes is, and from your point of view, what you can do about this problem, which is a very big problem for many people. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because there is a lot. Sorry that I was a little bit long. There is a lot to talk because I could talk about the food, the possible food. I could talk as well about the meditation that really helps you in grounding and flowing the energy, in cleansing the pancreas and the solar plexus. I could tell you about the other plants and combination. But all this really in a healing session is better because according to your how you are, I will advise you what kind of combination of herbs and exactly the diet and how you can start, etc.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
okay. Thank you to you and see you soon.